And a very good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to My Lounge Productions, Season 2, Episode 3. And you know, the amazing thing is that we know it's getting to the month of Ramadan and things like that, and we are obviously featuring not just artists in the Cape. We're also featuring many programs and reaching out to various communities and things like that on feeding schemes, how they assist communities in different areas and things like that. And today we speak to Ronaldo Renier, all the way from National Rescue for Poverty and Drugs organization, and they situated in Pelican Heights. A very good evening to you, Ronaldo. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening to the listeners.
Lovely. Ronaldo, you are obviously doing an amazing initiative, the National Rescue for Poverty and Drugs. How did this whole organization come about?
Okay, the organization was established in 2014. We started the organization with the need that we saw in the various communities. You know, I mean, just to mention a few, you look at Levendale, you look at Mitchell's Plain, and Overpark, and that you really see the need in our colored communities, that the need for the, you see a lot of children that's hungry, people that really struggling, that's underprivileged there, and we thought, wait, let's do something for the communities, and that is where we started this organization called National Rescue for Poverty and Drugs. And it was formed because if you look in the areas that I just mentioned, the drugs, the people abuse the drugs, the children gets abused, the women get abused. So that was the reason why we also chose that name, National Rescue for Poverty and Drugs, is to help the community with some of the problems that they have. We can't take the problems completely away, but we can assist where we can, and with as much as possible with people that is really, like for instance, your woman that get abused by the husband that's maybe on drugs, or even with alcohol and so forth. We assist them where we can take them and put them into a safe house for a certain, maybe 2 to 3 days, just to get over that traumatizing situation that they are in. Same with the kids as well. So, and then we also feed the communities on a daily basis with over 2,000 people in all the areas that I also just mentioned.
Okay, so when and just before we get to that, you are 100. I'm 100% sure, and we read it every day in our media, in our newspapers, and our Facebook posts, and that people are urging out for various people to keep the areas, specific areas, in their praise, because of the gangsterism and the violence and things happening in our communities. There's also the gender-based violence and things like that. That we don't want to touch base too much on that because we're obviously running out of time. But I also want to speak about the outreach programs that you just mentioned. You said you guys feed various communities like Canova Park, Lavender Hill, Pelican Heights, Mitchell's Plain, and all those things. You guys are very much broad in that sense. Tell me more about what is exactly that you guys as the organization feeds. What do you feed them?
Okay, we got very different feeding schemes, right, that we do. Like for in the morning, we will give porridge. If it's not maize meal porridge, it will be your oats that we give. If not, then it's a porridge that we will give. That is for the mornings. Then there's an afternoon feeding as well that we give, which will be a hot meal. It can be various meals. So sometimes we do biryani. If we don't do biryani, then we make maybe curry and rice that we give to the people. Sometimes it's pasta, like especially like for the older people on a Sunday, the elderly that can't walk and don't get out to their houses. We got the road champions in the various areas that will pinpoint out the areas and say, okay, this house, this is an elder person that there's so many people in that house that don't work, so many kids there, and then what we do is we then take the food, whatever food we make, we will take it to their house, drop it off by them. Amazing. And we also follow up on a regular basis with the people. Sometimes in the areas, the people that is sick, they can't take the medication because they don't have food. So that is where we come in as an organization. We go to that places, and the road champions assist us with that. Thank you for them. And then we give them the food, and then they can take the medication.
Fantastic.
So that's how far we go.
So Ronaldo, if just before we go to your name, if you just joined us, it is My Lounge Productions Season 2, Episode 3, and we feature two specific people from Pelican Heights. And the reason why we say Pelican Heights, and it also falls under Strandfontein as well, is because we outreaching to various communities, various entertainment, various programs and feeding schemes and those things that's running, currently feeding people all around the Cape, that's going through gender-based violence, drug awareness, and they build a lot of awarenesses in various communities. And we have Ronaldo Renier all the way from Pelican Heights, and he is the CEO of National Rescue for Poverty and Drugs organization. Ronaldo, just a last two things from you. How does one get in contact with you guys?
Okay, we got a contact number, which is my cell phone number, 081 474 3757. We got the alternative number, 081 3411 674. That is Glenn. And then we got email as well. They can send us an email on info@nationalrescue.co.za.
Lovely, fantastic. Ronaldo, just last thing, as an organization that you are currently the CEO of, how does where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years? What any procedures or any aims that you guys have for the next 5 years for your organization?
Okay, on that, with COVID, especially with COVID, we had big plans, especially with a safe house for abused women and children. We had to stop basically with that because of the COVID. We couldn't continue with the planning, and we also in contact with various companies to assist us with that, to make it possible. We don't have a safe house as yet, but we got what we do if we see the need for someone that is really in need to be away from the current situation. We will either book them in a hotel, or we got 2 family members that got big houses that accommodate us in that matter. And so in the next 5 years, look, it's difficult to plan, especially now with COVID. We don't know how long COVID is gonna still be going on. So, but we must see. We first wait for COVID to be over, then we'll plan. But we really need the help from people to assist us to make this thing possible, and also to be an ongoing thing. Obviously, with your funding, you can only do so much with the funds that you have. If you don't get any donations and we don't get any funding from any government organization as it is, we are really in need of funding to help us continue with this daily feeding schemes that we're busy with. But we wait and see how it's going to turn out.
Well,
thank you very much.
Fantastic. Ronaldo Renier, all the way from Pelican Heights, and he's the CEO of National Rescue for Poverty and Drugs. I'm not even going to introduce this guy yet, but I want you to stay tuned and just listen to this guy's words right after this.
Ja. Dinge gebeur rondom ons elke dag. Ons sien dit. Ek wil net praat oor die dinge wat gebeur in ons gemeenskap en elke ding in ons community. As maar net om awareness te bring teen gender-based violence. Wanneer gaan ons saam staan? Die vraag is ons 'n nasie, is ons 'n community? Kan ons mekaar support? Ek wil hê julle moet luister. Ja, ek wil maar nie praat oor dinge wat happen in die community. Ons is 'n nasie. Is tyd dat ons almal moet staan as 'n unity polisiestasie. Gee ons gemeenskap 'n beter security. Kinders raak gangsters, val in die drugs. Hoekom maar buite is geen opportunity? Weet nie vir wat en vir hoekom is stem nie. Sien nie die meier die dag as hy wen nie. But politiek gaan maar net als oor die penny. As jy dat julle nie die goed te ken nie. Lewe in pyn, kinders verdwyn. Even 'n meisie gekind in 'n drein. Ek is nie vir likes of dit in die game. Van deesdae se rappers, ons doen dit vir fame. Ek rap vir 'n change, ek rap nie vir views. Dink is vir fame, dan is jy confused. Ek doen dit vir kinders en women abuse. Rap oor die dinge wat kom op die news. Al die verkrachtings en al die moorde. Ek het nie meer woorde, kom ons support die kinders. Voor hulle nie tronke in is. Ouma is nou nog in trane. Haar kleinkind is weg al vir maande. Sy kan nie eers slap in die aande. Wonder my sê vir my, wat is die planne? Want môre is dit sy, môre is dit ek. Kom ons dan nou al net op vir ons plek. Dit is nie so maklik om oor dit te rap. Want die is my boodskap wat ek vir jou het. Please. Soos ek gesê, dit is dinge wat gebeur rondom ons. Elke social ills in die community en ek wil net weet, wanneer gaan ons opstaan teen die misdaad? Wanneer gaan ons besef is genoeg? Mense, as tyd dat ons moet saam staan. Voordat die geval gebeur, hoekom moet ons altyd opstaan wanneer dit gebeur? En dan wil ons almal 'n stryk doen. Ek wil net hê julle moet luister. Ja. Ek wil maar nie praat van wat men ek stil is. Rep oor die lewe tot daar verskil is. Totdat die statistics van moeder op nul is. Ek meen dat se baba gevind is en vul is. Waar is die ma van die baby? Waar is die army, polisie, die navy van redig my lewe? Dit voel nie meer safe. Jy moet slap op die straat en net nie verblyf nie. Soek vir 'n week, ons het hier 'n poverty. Ons mense wat lewe in poverty. Ek sien nie meer kans om te suffer nie. Ek wil ek gaan nie nog af nie. Wat is die why? Gee vir my hoop. Dis hoekom mense maar drugs verkoop. Die light is die kinders is dik gerook. Is heeltemal vas in die tik geloop. En ek is al op van die misdaad. So kom ons staan op in die misdaad. En hoekom jy nou nie, hoekom is later wanneer ons kinders vermis raak, want ek is al op van die misdaad. So kom ons staan op in die misdaad. En hoekom jy nou nie, hoekom is later wanneer ons kind in 'n kus slaap. So kom ons support as 'n nasie en kom ons staan op as 'n nasie. Daai is die boodskap wat ek het vir julle. Dit gebeur rondom ons mense, ons moet opstaan, ons sal moet sê genoeg is genoeg. Enough is enough. Jou kind is my kind en my kind is joune. So ons moet almal protect wat gebeur in ons gemeenskap.
And we live. A very good evening. Salam alaikum and welcome back. An amazing, I think, those words that this young gentleman has rapped for you guys. We would call it rap. Or rather some words of encouragement was amazing. And today I introduce him as Michael Palmer, Afrikaans rapper from Bedarsdorp, and moved to Cape Town about 7 months ago. So he's in our communities. I'm sure you probably saw him. He was on various other platforms as well. And if you didn't see him, he's definitely coming into your community to do some words of encouragement and also some beautiful lyrics of his rapping songs. Michael Palmer works in communities around the Cape and also creates awareness about gender-based violence, gangsterism, drugs, etc. A young gentleman from Bedarsdorp and now in Cape Town. Michael, a very good evening. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you, Tightly. I'm very well, man. So, like I said, I'm Michael Palmer, all the way from Bedarsdorp. We call it the B-Dop. So, Michael Palmer stands for MP. MP is my state's name, so I will go it by his Mr. for you. So, it's Mr. MP. All the way from Bedarsdorp. I started rap when I was going on high school. There was certain of groups, arts and culture, was being teaching on high school. So, I couldn't dance because I was a little bit stiff, can't move the body so well. So, I thought, no, maybe I will go to the rap category, and I do the rapping, and it was quite nice. So I started rap when I was in grade 8, since young, at the age of 14. So that was when I started rap in Bedarsdorp, and yeah, but further I'm good.
Can you see, now, this is the problem that I have, is that when you're overconfident, you don't even give me a chance to even ask you any questions. Introducing, well, 23 years old, from Strandfontein, lives in Strandfontein now currently, all the way from Bedarsdorp. He's in Cape Town, living here for 7 months.
Yes.
And an amazing guy. I met him a couple of weeks ago, Michael Palmer. Michael, let's speak about your childhood. How was that for you?
My childhood, it wasn't so good for me, but it wasn't a bad also, so you can say good and bad, go by the 50-50. I grew up with my mother. I was staying that time by my grandmother's house, the three of us. So I grew up with a single mother. My father and my mother divorced when I was at the age of 6. So it was only grew up with my mother. So therefore I grew up in a small part of Bedarsdorp. You know, you get different areas. So the area that I grew up is Kleinbegin. It's also the album that I'm launching. I call it Kleinbegin, so because everything begins small. So I'm staying in that area. So I grew up there. Went to the Ida Primary School in Bedarsdorp. After that, I go to high school, Albert Myburg, and there's where my career started as a rapper, or I can say where I grew my talent, or where I was seeing this is my thing.
Well, let us see him do his thing right after this. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay. There's a story with myself. It's called My Story. This is who I am. This is my identity. Ek is nie skaam om te sê wie ek is en waar vanaf ek kom nie. Ek is net trots op myself dat ek daarom kop gehou het en dat ek nou nog hier is en my ding doen. So ek wil vandag my story deel met julle. Moenie wegsteek wie jy is nie. Moenie pretend nie. Wees net real en ken jouself. Want Vader. Vanmorgen is ek op my knieën, ek wil maar net help vra. En waar gaan ek kos kry? Is dinge wat ek elke dag vir myself vra. Want life is 'n ijscream, want redig dit voel of my lewe wil smelt bra. Ek kan nie depend op my ouers nie, hoe kan ek nou nog by mami wil geld vra? Die tyd toe ek altyd op skool was, gewens dat my ouers ook ryk was. Wat dankie my ma tot binne matriek, dat alles dat auntie so great was. My altyd support by rugby en sport, sonder 'n pa al die tyd was. En soms gewonne, het hy my lief of dat ek maar net 'n mistake was. Jo, is baie persoonlik, wat kom ek vertel elke oomblik. Dit wys dat ek is nie meer skaam nie, van baie steek het weg gewoonlik. At least is ek nog bly, ek het nie myself verloor nie. At least ken ek nog my identity, en daarom kom deel ek my story. Ja, so baie mense dink ek kom uit 'n agtergrond het van alles was net vir my gegee. Somtyds het ek nie gehad nie. Dis 'n storie oor myself. Oral waar ek opgegroei het, was geweld rondom my. Ons het almal gesukkel, ons almal was die privilege om te hê wat ons het nie. Maar ek wil net my boodskap uitsê vandag. Vir julle om te luister. Okay. Dis 'n storie oor myself. Dis 'n storie oor myself. Die lewe wat ons lewe is te vol van geweld. Wat? Ek gee om, ek gaan help. Die dinge wat ek doen, bind ek vas met 'n beld. Mense maak mekaar dood en dit om geld. Sien dit hoe ons daar sien die grond en gaan smel. Kom ons staan saam soos een. Mense ons mekaar net ondersteun. Kom ons lewe sonder konflik. Dit laat jou lewe net omflip. Hoekom moet ons haat? Sê my hoekom moet ons haat? Want dit is die dinge wat my die diepste raak. Respek jou ouers, van hulle is lief vir jou. Jy moet bid van God, hy is hier vir jou. Baie dinge wat my pla, man, hoekom moet ek klaar as God nog genade kan gee vir jou? Ek kan nou nie vir my kwai nie, ek vergiet van waar ek kom elke dag. As ek rap sê, ek altyd vir my chommy wat die mense van my sê, man, ek maak ek geen nie om nie wat die mense van my skinne, man, ek maak ek geen nie om nie, die is lewe. Sê dit elke dag in my gebeure, al die dinge wat sy doen, stel jou ouers net tevrede, mense judge jou nou op alles en ek wonder wat sy rede. Vra my net vir Jesus om my sondes te vergewe. Ek smeek jou te vrede jou van judgments te breek jou, te leer jou, oorweeg jou, sy moet jou gereed jou. Sex is not easy, it's hard to achieve. Trust in the God, man, and start to believe. There was a time in my life, you know, where everything was dark, but Jesus was here and created the spark. I believe in God. Ja, ek glo binne in die Here en ons almal op die aarde het hom nodig in die lewe, dankie Vader. Okay. Hy is net wat ek te gesê het oor myself, wie ek is. Michael Palmer, Mr. MP. Ek gaan dit nie meer hide nie. Is tyd dat ek moet real wees en sê wie ek is. That is my story. Wie is jy? Vra dit vir jouself. Who am I? Just say it to the world. Okay. Yeah.
Michael Palmer, all the way from Strandfontein, born and lived his life in Predarsdorp, and he's living now in Cape Town for about 7 months. Let's just speak about Cape Town. How's the experience for you being here for 7 months?
Okay, for 7 months, the reason I moved to Cape Town is to get a little bit more of platforms to see more places, because it's quite bigger, a lot of bigger than where I came from. So while I was performing in places, like Lavendale, like performing in Menneberg, performing in Strandfontein, performing in Mitchell's Plain, performing on lots of places. So for me, it is just the same things that is happening in Predarsdorp: gender-based violence and women abuse, drug abuse. Everything is happening in my town, but here it is like it's on another level. It's a little bit higher. It's a little bit more things that I saw. So my time in Cape Town, it gave me the inspiration to write a lot of lyrics, because I see more people that is staying on streets. In Predarsdorp, you can count the people who is staying on streets, who is homeless. But if you come here, you can't even count, because in every town, in a certain area, you see there's a lot of people. So it's more poverty here, more gangsterism, more gang violence and all that stuff. So my time in Cape Town was quite good, because it's a good feedback, because I was working with a lot of people, organizations in Strandfontein, like the YMCA. So we go out in the communities, we do something for the community with the Department of Social Development, and we bring awareness amongst all the social ills that is happening in our community. So my time in Cape Town, I can say it was quite as good. It was a nice experience, change of scenery, missing my people at home, but I'm strong enough to carry on.
Lovely, lovely. Michael Palmer, 23 years old, all the way from Bedersdorp, and now living in Cape Town for about 7 months. And I met him about a couple of weeks ago at an event that I was at as well. And this guy just stole my heart with the lyrics and things that he says to the audience, especially that evening. Michael, you have been doing a lot of things in communities about gangsterism and drugs and gender-based violence and personally, when you do write your lyrics and things like that, how does that affect you?
It's quite hard because it's not easy to write stories about the things that is happening around us, because I don't know where the inspiration even come from. Sometimes I think, how does lyrics come here? Because it's just here, the pain is so much, because I was experiencing some of that. I was living in a poor community. I was living in how they call it, the ghetto these days. I was growing up amongst people. I was sowing it. I saw stuff, I see stuff in, heard stuff in. So it's not easy to write the songs, but for me it's better to, rather than brag about something you don't have, say I have that, I say I have that. I'm speaking about the truth, things that people should hear. If I'm not the day that I'm not here, maybe on earth anymore, my songs will be repeating it will be on repeat, maybe on radio stations, it will play on televisions, because just to show the people our history, how it was before you get apartheid, now you get gangsterism. So this is just a part to show who our people is, how we are loving. This is our identity nowadays, and yeah.
And that's obviously to get a flashback as well.
Yeah.
So obviously you viewers at home, I would love for you to tap share. Like an amazing young gentleman, 23 years old, Michael Palmer, all the way from Bedersdorp and living in Stanfontein in Cape Town. He's living here for about 7 months, and like I said, this guy's lyrics and everything will definitely catch your ear in a bit. Also, I'm going to urge you as well to don't forget to donate as well. This is a My Lounge Productions episode, which is episode 3, and we feature various things. And I have said in our last episode with Zakia Brown that we are coming to your area. We're coming to look for talent. We are coming to to various schemes, feeding schemes, whatever it may be. We want to feature them, all of them on MLP, and that is what we want to do, an outreach program so that people at home and viewers at home like you guys live on Facebook and YouTube can see that we're not just focusing on entertainment itself. But Michael, back to you. It's not about MLP, it's not about Shadley Scrooder. It's more about you, and I want to speak. So there's a lot of things that I want to speak to you about. When you're living in Bedersdorp, and you also said that the communities are quite small, and it's basically divided into different
areas.
Areas, yeah. You that side and you this side. How would you compare the two?
The two compare that side. In Bedersdorp is like if there is an event, municipality or the organizations will reach out to me to do entertainment, because we are working with children in the community there. It's doing arts and culture. So we dance, we rap, and we sing, and we do drama. So they will reach out to me. So like I must organize my own event to have an event there, what I mean? So there's not events that they can say there's going on. It's always MP will be there involved or so. He's going to do the entertainment. The change here in Cape Town is I can go freely to an event, because they only will say you have 2 items to do. You have 10 minutes on stage. So it's more relaxed, not organizing everything. Just come, bring myself there, put me on the stage in. Just give the message.
So let's say Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
Everything is sorted. Well, Michael Palmer, in the comfort of your own home, I'm going to urge you to tap, share, like, watch party, whatever it is. This guy is an amazing performer, and I think that he needs to get the most exposure as he can into your communities. So let's us see him do another song right after this. Stay tuned.
Ja, ons moet ons sanitize, mense. Ons moet ons maskers dra soos in die publiek loop. Kom ons volg die reels van die president, van ons wil nie worry. Dat lyk nie ons mense wil worry. Sê my wat is julle story? Corona is real, ons almal wil heal. Ek wil nie my mense verloor nie. Dit lyk nou ons kan dit nie keer nie, want sanitize ons aan die meer nie. Onthou net resistance, social distance, wat ek sien dit nie meer nie. 'n Masker wat sit op jou kin, 'n masker wat hang om jou nek. Beskerm jou mond, beskerm jou neus, of moet ek sê cover jou bek? Wat sê my, hoe hou ek my distance? Ek ry in 'n taxi wat vol is. Hoe kan ons met 500 mense sonder 'n masker verbinne in 'n zol is? 'n Battles Valley. Ons Valley worry. Ask, where's your mask? Wear your mask, mask. Battles gaan nie. Ons dink is funny. Ons vat die president kop toe. Battles Valley. Ons Valley worry. Ask, where's your mask? Wear your mask, mask. Battles gaan nie. Ons dink is funny. Ons vat die president. Okay. Sien julle wat maak jy wave toe? Elke dag gaan mense grave toe. As julle dit nog nie besef nie, moet Cyril ons vat level 5 doen. Baie van ons het die werkie, deur julle moet baie nou rond kyk. Ek worry nie nou van die wensie, ek fokus maar nou op gesondheid. Ons worry nie regtig oor curfew, dis baie wat laat op die straat is. Indien ek vandag bietjie siek voel, en as daar 'n hoes in jou slaap is, en as daar 'n pyn in jou keel is, wat voel of dit stuk en gekraap is, staan op en vat jou kliniek toe, dan doen sy 'n toetsie vir gratis. 'n Battles Valley. Ons Valley worry. Where's your mask? Wear your mask, mask. Battles gaan nie. Ons dink is funny. Ja. Battles Valley. Ons Valley worry. And when they ask, where's your mask? Wear your mask, mask. Battles gaan nie. Ons dink is funny. Ons vat die president. Ja. Wanneer maak Cyril die drank oop? Das mense wat wag vir die speech. Dat lyk julle wil maar net drank koop en om te gaan drink op die beach. Ek wonder hoe lyk julle koskas? Ek hoop julle fokus op needs. En mense sit op julle masker vir alles die loop in die streets. Dankie tog ons het 'n wet sien, wat mense dit is nie genoegie. Respek asseblief net die curfew. Wie's bly dat dit is nie meer vroegie. Staan op dan gaan jy net werk toe. Syla dan kom jy net terug. 'n Masker wat binne jou sak sit. Sit dit net op jou gesig. Battles Valley. Ons Valley worry. And when they ask, where's your mask? Wear your mask, mask. Battles gaan nie. Ons dink is funny. Ons vat die president kop toe. Ons moet die president toe kop toe vat, mense. COVID is real. Ons wil nie nog mense verloor wat na ons is nie. So dis net my boodskap vir COVID. Ek bring awareness. Sanitize julle hande wherever you go. En hou die social distance tussen mekaar. Thank you.
Michael Palmer, 23 years old, all the way from Bedersdorp, and now living in Cape Town for about 7 months, and living in the Strandfontein area in Cape Town, South Africa. He's a rapper. He works in various communities, and he does awareness about drugs, gender-based violence, gangsterism, etc. And a young gentleman is in your midst and my midst today, and it's a great privilege for My Lunch Productions MLP to have this young gentleman. I think his work is amazing. He's going into various communities to make sure that he creates awareness about things that's real in Cape Town, South Africa. Michael, let's speak about COVID-19 in a nutshell. How has COVID-19 affected you by going forward with your rapping career?
Okay, let's say take COVID-19 7 months back. When I was in Bredasdorp, I was working, so I lost my job because of COVID came in. There's not enough for payments for the employees that was there because it was too much people in the company. So when I came here, COVID give me the opportunity to move to Cape Town. So I can say it affected me bad and it can affect me good, because otherwise I wouldn't be here now, sitting in Cape Town. So if COVID was making doors open for me, and it also closed doors because we can't have live events anymore, and that was the best part for me, because like I said, I'm not a recording artist, but I'm a performing artist, so I love to be on stage, be present with the people. But now you can get only a few people at the events, and so my thing was, if I'm going to Cape Town one day, there will be like 5,000, because in my town you will reach my 1,000, 2,000 people max. So yeah, I'm gonna get 5,000, 10,000 and more, So COVID just
in rapping and singing and being a comedian and things like that, there's a particular formula.
Yeah.
What is the formula for you in rapping? I know it's a difficult question, but yeah.
It's a difficult question. They said don't never give your recipes or your formula to everyone. But yeah, the formula is just to believe, man. Just I'm just praying. I'm just doing my thing. Give my side also to be positive to my God and do my things. Pray and I just do my thing. Yeah,
Lovely.
That's my formula because the inspiration doesn't come from me or my mind or I don't know where it's come from. It's from the people, the community itself, and the main man.
That's perfect. The main man. I like that one. So, Michael, last thing for you before you go into your performing arts, to do your thing in the MLP studio. I want you to tell us, where do you see yourself? And I do know it's COVID as well. You can't really do any measurements and things like that. But personally, your drive that you have, the way I see when we had our chat just before we started this interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
In 5 years' time, I want to see myself is like sitting here on my own channel, doing my interviews with other people, saying them. I want to be on television. I want to have my own program there. There's repeatedly there to say more message and more people get artists in. I want to be on radios. Let's say I want to be a radio presenter in 5 years. I want my own slot on the radio or wherever I can go. I want to be on Express, so I want to be on various platforms. I want to be in stadiums. I have so much things. But let's just say let's see how we can cope it.
Can obviously bring those
yes.
things forward. Well, I wish you all the best, and from the MLP management as well. We wish you everything of the best that you're obviously gonna go forward with your career in the singing career. You have the ability, you've got the potential, and I'm going to urge you at home to please tap and share. And send your comments, and Michael can obviously get that comments as well.
Yeah.
What you think about this whole thing, and I think Michael is amazing. And I'm going to urge you to tap and share to your loved ones, family and friends across the globe, around the world. I mean, who knows? Michael could get that opportunity to perform in other cities because of you. Let's make a difference in our communities. Let's stay away from gangsterism, stay away from drugs. Let's base our life on creating awarenesses and opportunities for other artists in the industry. Michael, I'm going to ask you very nicely to give a beautiful message to the youngsters out there, those people that is growing up, the kids and things like that, about gangsterism, the awarenesses in the communities, and let's go for it.
Yeah, the only message I want to give for everybody out there is don't give up in what you do. If you have a talent, just move forward. Because hoekom moet dit so is? Mense like jou judge wanneer jy boe is. Ek meen my jou fame, jou friends, dit kan jou broer is. But sulke tye, waar die moet jy maar nie cool is. Want as jy opgee, gaan almal weet dat sy jou fool is. Toe ek begin rap, toe trek ek amper koppie uit. Want baie het my gejudge en niemand wil my motivate. Maar toch is ek nou eister en ek kan spog van as ek klaar is op die stage van my fans vir nog. Ek was ook onder op die bottom, kyk waar staan ek nou. Ek was gejudge van tevore, het aangehou, man, ek het gesukkel, wat een ding, ek was verseker, ek gaan ontwikkel, en toch het ek verbeter, don't give it up, moet nie opgee, of wat jy doen nie, moet nie vastkyk wat die mense sê, of wat hulle jou noem nie, asseblief man, moet nie laat jou lewe verwoesie, van sy wie jats, skinder gaan gepaard met jaloesie, ek leef my lewe uit, en ek gaan dit doen met versekerheid, en die wat my gejats het, is fijn, is die verlede tyd, ek wees van beter, jou toekomst is net 'n meter, ek is klaar gepraat, ek is 'n baie goeie preker, lief vir lewe, sy moet op bewe, mense kan jou judge, but sy moet hulle vergewe, en kyk jy lief vir lewe, sy moet op bewe, mense kan jou judge, but ze moeten hulle vergewe. But anyway, that is my message for all the youth out there.
Wow, amazing. Michael Palmer, 23 years old, in the comfort of your own home, born in Bedarsdorp, and now he is in Cape Town for only 7 months. Stay tuned while we take him into the MLP studio, My Lounge Production Studio, when he does a beautiful performance for you guys, right after this.
I'm Michael Palmer, I'm aka Mr. MP, I'm back with a performance, I'm gonna give you 3 lekker songs, man. So you must just type in, you must just tune in, you must just like, and you must just say everything that is coming up in tonight, please, people, because we're doing it for our people out there, the youth, and most of the women. Yeah.
You are now listening to DJ TK on the track.
Yeah.
Circles and cycles and seasons.
Is 'n tyd wat ons in COVID is. Ons kan nie meer uitgaan om events te doen nie, so ons sit maar net in die huis en vandag doen ek 'n dedication vir een en elke mens daar buite. Ek gaan net praat oor die lewe, dinge wat rondom ons aangaan en ek gee vir julle feite. Elke dag gebeur het. So ons moet net nie miskyk nie. Ons moet ons hart in die jeug bestel van dis 'n song for the youth. Het is nie vir my nie, het is nie vir jou nie, maar het is vir ons generation van môre. Elke kind op die straat. So luister. As ek maar net kyk hoe die lewe is, hoe difficult die lewe is, van dit wat sy besit of weet, moet sy maar net tevrede is, as freedom die ek wonder of jy weet dat wat die rede is, racisme en equality moet pad van die verlede is, wat toch het happen, vir al die binne in ons plekken, die mense wat die power het, gebruik het as 'n weapon, kom ons staan saam, anders gaan ons stak en ons gaan sukkel, as die NG ons gaan fight voor geld, hoe gaan ons dan ontwikkel, hier is nothing vir die youth, dis hoe kom ek al so naris, doen sy redig dit vir change, of doen sy dit vir 'n salaris, almal kom ek by mekaar, almal doen 'n presentation, moet jy dink aan jouself, dink aan die future generation, ek gee net motivation, 'n bietjie inspiration, ek doen dit nie vir fame, dis 'n boodskap vir my nation, die skole word nou toegemaak, ons need die education, wat COVID is wat maak dat ons moet sit die in die huisen, was 1 gevalle, 2 gevalle, nou sit oor die 1000, ons kry nie eers 'n weekie wat ons glo en wie's net patient, corona raak te heavy en ons need 'n medication, het die baie om te offer nie, but dis my dedication, vir jou dat jy steek bly, net weet ek gaan weg kry, die smokkeleis gelos, sodat ek kan in die kerk bly, is julle nog met my nasie kom back my, maak numbers vir die kinders van die laities respect my, ek doen dit vir die youth, ek's 'n man van die jeug, wil sien dat ons 'n nasie almal vorentoe beweeg, al week dinge nie uit die bad, solank jy net probeer, van opgies nie die opsie nie, jou aan en druk deur, so in alles wat jy doen, wil ek net hê jy moet aanhou met wat jy doen, van elke keer gebruik het, dinge gebeur hier in ons gemeenskappe in, so ek wil net sê, sy wat dink, sy is 'n hitman, wat ander mense se kinders gaan doodskiet, hoe gaan sy voel wanneer dit jou naaste bestaande is, en ek wil net hê dat ons met sy kan geagree dit, dat die doodstraf liewes terug moet kom, van het lyk jy die mense wil hoor, die straf is nie genoeg nie, so ek wil net praat oor die meisiekind wat gebeur het in haar lewe in, en ons wat die oues is, ons moet kyk na ons kinders, so ek wil net julle moet luister, ja, ja, en vat op, hoekom ryp wat sy belustig is, respect die vroue asof sy jou eie sister is, ek wil net sê dat al die dames moet versigtig is, doen dinge as sy dronk is, baie spyt dat sy weer nigter is, dis vir die oues, elke dag kyk ons die daily news, sy moet besop van môre word jou eie kind abuse, sy het 'n gun, wil sy dink sy is 'n hitman, hoe gaan sy voel jou eie sussie is 'n victim, nie net in ongesie wat elke man vir vroue maand, sy's net 'n moffie al die manne wat in vroue slaan, sy wat so klap, ons gaan 'n banga oor jou kloue slaan, en as jy weer verkrag, laat ons jou kaal in die koue staan, Sarel, waar is die doos af, kom ons bring het terug, want ek is op van al die moorde in die nuus berig, familie kleinig, ja, wat dink jy dit die meisiekind, die lewe is so mest op, hoop die beste in jou meisiekind, die story in die son, o Nakita Rasool, was nog klein en staan net een en was ons voel van die skool, hierdie kidnappers wil al leek is en sy val vir dit, diezelfde oomblik toe sy vat, was sy in die kag ingeruk, sy het gehuil, sy het geskree, die mense het dit gehoor, sê my net, hoe sal jylle voel, om 'n kind te verloor, daar was 'n foto van die ma, sy was baie hartseer, van die way haar trane loop, was sy stukken geskeer, sy het gebel vir haar man en hy was woedend en kwaad, oral gesoek in die dorp, man in elke straat, op en af met sy moeder in die padron gejaar, en dis hoekom ek sê dat ouers moet die kinders bewaar, Cyril, waar is die doos af, kom ons bring het terug, want ek is op van al die woorde in die nuus berig, familie kry nie geld, wat dink sy, dis die pleisiekind, die lewe is so mest op, hoop die beste vir jou meisiekind, so vir elke meisiekind wat daar buiten is, ek hoop die beste vir hulle, en ons gemeenskap, ons moet saam staan, van ons almal, jou kind is my kind, en ons verstaan al die gesegde, so, moet nie maak asof het die voelie, ons moet die pyn kan verdra, ons, oké, mens maar net, ja, so, vir elke meisiekind daar buiten, ek wil net bemoedig, volg op die regte pad, luister na jou ouers, en wat jy moet doen daar buiten, dat is net die boodskap om uit te dra, vir ons jeug van môre, ons dink miskien, die ding pas in, of ons wil alles doen om in te pas, hy sê die way nie, ek wil net hê, julle moet luister na die volgende so, van ons almal het die pyn, ons almal gaan deur het, ja, is 'n TV-series wat ek gekyk het, ek het dit op papier neergeskit, ek het dit geskryf, net om die boodskap uit te dra, deur my musiek, net om vir die mense te sê, ons almal is op seer se spoor, ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor, ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor, En nog gelijk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor. En nog gelijk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor. Laat ek vertel oor die dinge wat gebeur in ons lewe. No one is perfect. Van baie kom die sukkel en strewe en daar is mense sonder dak en wat van koue te bewe en mense maak mekaar dood met die snaakse gebeure. Sy dreig jou ma vir 'n selfondruk haar diep in die skuld. En as jou ma dit wil koopie geld sy bo op 'n wild. Sy kom hoog uit die week en op die tafel die pos. Sy moet betaal aan die skuld en as vir week in die kos. Kinders los die skool as hulle dryp, ek kom al deur. Wat die dag toe ek gefeild het ek aanhou probeer. Sy praat lelik met jou pa, dan gebeur daar iets meer. Wat in die 10 gebooie staan, dat sy jou ouers moet eer. Was die respek en discipline, Here gee ons die krag. En as ek lees in die Koran, sien ek in van virus verkrag. Is bierwagte, hoekom moet hulle dan nou help? Jy kan ons leer uit jou foute uit en dink vir jouself. Seer se spoor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor. En nog gelijk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor. En nog gelijk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor. Alles raak swaar in die lewe, dis hoe ek het nou kyk. Die way die ouens van vandag die meisiekinders misbruik. Sy word gedwong om te seks en sy weet dit is ryp. En op die nuus het ek gesien, die kop soek nog na 'n lijk. Sy moet die toekoms kyk en force jouself om skool te voltooi. Ek sê dit dag op dag hoe tieners hulle liewe weggooi. Want die myn ding is drugs en hierdie goed raak 'n las. Van baie wil dit seker doen net om by vriendin te pas. Nou ek wil niemand judge, ek wil maar net my boodskapie sê. Om iemand aan die dood af te staan, is dit wat ons wil hê. Amper soos aan Hinse moorde was net iemand gestraf, wat oor 'n paar jaar kom my uit, wat sy sal bly in die graf. Die probleme wat sy het, dit druk jou vas, soos 'n koue nag en vlieg die drugs op en dit is byna amper elke dag en wanneer gaan dit stop? Om die meisiekinders te verkrag, die lewe is unfair, wat ons staan op en kry die mag, seer se spoor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor, want nog gelyk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor, want nog gelyk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor. Ons eie nasie, ek kan nie glo dat ons mense is so dwaasie. Wat kom ek gee vir julle ware informasie? Sy word vermoor en nog verkrag in jou lokasie. Glad die eers verbasie. Redig my trane loop toe ek die liedjie skryf. Net om te dink 'n groot man is op 'n kinderlyf. En op die ouderdom van 3, sy was nog nie eers 5. Wat kyk jy, ons sal jou onthou al is sy in die gryf. Wat op die einde van die dag gaan ons almal dood. Maar lief was deur 'n siekte en nie deur 'n moord. Die hele storie, die berig het aan my hart gevat. My kind is doodgemaak, sy kop het hulle afgekap. As hy 'n lyf kry, die jare loop af. Ek sal tevrede wees as hy hom nie was doodstraf. Die wat die hoorie man se ore moet ons oopklap. Ons almal is op seer se spoor. Ek hoop sy kry my boodskap, seer se spoor. Ja, ons almal is op seer se spoor, want nog gelyk die nog 'n kind was die naweek weer vermoor en nog 'n tannie het gehuil, sy het haar meisiekind verloor, want ons almal is op seer se spoor. Soos ek sê, ons almal is op seer se spoor, mense. Ek is al fed up met die dinge wat rondom ons aangaan. Dinge kan nie so aangaan in ons gemeenskap nie. Ons moet regtig 'n plan maak en action vat en opstaan teen die misdaad. Ja. Alles wat ek gerep het, het is nie net inspiration wat ek self gekry het nie. Ek gee die acknowledge vir die man van bo. Want hy is die een wat vir my so ver gevat het waar ek is. 'n Geleentheid gegee om saam met julle te praat. Ek wil net vir hom dankie sê vir die pad wat hy saam met my gestap het. Ja. Dankie Vader, die talent wat u gegee het, was daar vir my die tyd toe dat niemand in my believe het. My Vader, ek is dankbaar vir wat ek so ver achieve het. Ek bid nog vir elke blessing vir wat ek so ver receive het. Geleentheid, inspirasie om net 'n boodskap te bring vir my nasie. Weet jy nog hoekom sy druk op my plaasie? Vader, kom help my in die situasie. Bless my, seën my. Ek vra vir u, kom ondersteun my. Dit voel dat die wêreld te steun my. Bid vir sukses en my God is daar geen way. But once ek verloor my hoopie, ek sal nie my siel gaan verkoopie. Bro, al maak hierdie deure nie oopie, al vat dit my lang, wat ek gaan nie koodie. Ek wag vir my breakthrough, om eendag te celebrate. Das baie wat hesitate, En die wat my nog aan die eerste, my dankie vir dit, want nou haal ek my beste uit. Even familie kom druk vir jou af. Sê wie dat die lewe is hard en 'n staf. Wat u het my gemaak, ja u het my gevorm. Die Here het my gedra die elke storm. Hoekom moet ek opgee, vir wat moet ek ophou? Volg net jou drome en sodat jy kop hou. En moet jy jou planne met almal gaan deel. Jy weet nie wie's in om jou planne te steel. Die duiwel is oral, wat God is die master. Ek het vandag het geleef by my paaste. Oppas vir mense, veral vir jou naaste. Jesus kom eerste, so sit hulle laaste. Can I get a amen? Is tyd dat ons almal die Here moet prys. Call out his name, man. Want Jesus, my God, het gesterf aan die kruis. Can I please get a amen? Gesterwe wat opgestaan binne 3 days. Is tyd dat ons almal reality face. Die Here is hier, hy's binne in die huis. 'n pynlike lewe wat ons almal gaan ons deur het. Al het ek nie baie nie, but once ek waardeer het. Ek maak my foute, wat solank ek probeer het. Die einde van die dag, daar 'n bietjie iets geleer het. Ek vat dit stap vir stap, ek is die hastigie. Ek weet nie hoekom is die duiwel so lastig. As ek saam met God is, laat ek dit gou uitbrei. Alles wat sy insit, sal sy eendag uitkry. Hoekom moet sy opgee, hoekom wil sy koot? Jou mense wil die help, al is sy in die nood. Die Here is die kaptein, die skipper van my boot. Hy gaan vir my beskerm in sy ark teen 'n vloot. En alles wat ek deel, is wat uit my hart kom. En as hy verdwaal, hy sal weer op die pad kom. So glo en vertrou, jy moet bid tot die lag kom. En elke geleentheid ek gryp en ek vat hom. Can I get a amen? Is tyd dat ons almal die Here moet prys. Call out his name, man. Want Jesus, my God, het gesterf van die kruis. Can I please get a amen? Gesterwe wat opgestaan binne 3 days. Is tyd dat ons almal reality face. Die Here is hier, hy's binne in die huis. Thank you everyone. Almal wat geluister het vandag. Thank you. Like I said, you can donate. You get the details on the screen. You must like, share and give your comments. Thank you very much. That was Mr. MP.